So I've just been invited to drive the new Audi TT RS. I'm so excited. Love it on paper, specs, beautiful car. Let's go. Yeah, okay, great. We'll be there shortly. Thanks. Bye-bye. Welcome back to ExoticCar PlayPlace, everybody. Today I'm featuring a new 2018 Audi TT RS. This is no regular TT. Back in the day, when Audi came out with the original version, I always considered it to be a little bit, well, how we say, feminine for my liking and for my taste. It was a little different. They had some interesting styling bits, but it was a little bit awkward. There were some things. They had the baseball glove finishing, leather, like the quality was there, but the styling was a little bit off for me. Well, since then we've gone through other revisions, and now here we are sitting in a 2018 Audi TT RS. And the RS, of course, being the hot rod version in Audi's world. So this one here actually features a 5-cylinder, 2.5 liter turbocharged engine that produces an outstanding 400 horsepower and 354 foot-pounds of torque. That combined with the fact that it runs a dual clutch transmission and all-wheel drive, of course with launch control, a lot of these modern cars have now, this car can put down 0 to 60 miles per hour times of 3.6 seconds. We're talking about running close to that 11-second mark for the quarter-mile time. Amazing for such a car of, relatively stealthy attitude. This is not a car that jumps out at you at first glance and says, hey, look at me, I'm an amazing supercar. The beauty with this thing is it does just that. It does it at a very stealthy and low level. It doesn't scream and holler and say, look at me, I'm some amazing supercar. This actually just, stays low. It doesn't, it's a beautiful, attractive new look, but it doesn't really jump out at you and say all kinds of things like, hey, look at this, look at me, and look what I can do. It doesn't need to. This car is so understated, but yet it can go against some of the biggest hot rods from some of the European manufacturers, and for far less money. The value in this car is amazing. I love it. It's great. Now, of course, what I also love about this car is the interior quality components in this thing. Audi is no new boy on the block when it comes time to quality parts. And when you sit in this car, it really gives you a feeling and a sense of high quality. There's nothing cheap going on here. And you know what? This is probably one of the best cars in the business, well, the best brands in the business for quality components. Of course, as you'd expect, nothing but the best from the Audi interior components. Audi has some of the best heating controls and certainly some of the best interior materials. Now the question comes, of course, what makes this car so quick? How does it get to that speed? Well, again, we're talking about a double clutch transmission. We're talking about 400 horsepower. But the other key equation to this is we're talking about a car that is actually very, very light. A lot of cars today, they're getting all plumped up, they're getting fat, and they're getting heavy because of all the, the emission systems, because of all the electronics, because of all the parts that make these things so nice and luxurious. Audi has done things to manage to keep the weight very low. This car is a svelte 3,100 pounds soaking wet. And because it's so light, it doesn't need 590 horsepower. It does just fine with 400, thank you very much. And so, because of that, this car just rockets. And with the launch control, this is capable of keeping up with anything, virtually even with the R8. It's much, much bigger brother. So, the things I really, really like about this car, well, for one, the performance. It's absolutely horrendously fast when you get this thing on the boil. So that's the first thing I really love. I mean, it's really understated. You don't expect much until you put the foot down and you realize, wow, this thing's going like a Carrera S 911 or possibly even faster. This thing really, really accelerates. That's the first thing I love about it. The second thing I love about it, well, look at the exterior styling and the color on this car. This color is very unique, and it tells you specific that I'm driving a TT RS, not just an S, not just a base TT. I'm driving the RS model. I love this color on this car. And of course the styling with the fin on it. You've got, on the front, you've got headlights that look very similar to a Huracan, just a slightly simpler version of it. But I like the exterior styling on this car. It's beautiful. It's got a lot of nice touches on it. Accents that, and things and materials and style bits that they've taken from its big brother, the well, I wouldn't say the Huracan partially, but certainly the R8, bare minimum. Another thing I love about it, well, of course, the interior fit and finish. I don't think there's a better company out there, a better manufacturer for the quality of interior. I mean, Porsche's up there, BMW's up there. This is as good as it gets. There's nothing more you can ask. The quality of the buttons you push, it's a soft touch. The soft touch materials, everything is top quality. And no lack of carbon fiber fitting in here, as well Alcantara on these side panels here. Amazing interior materials on this car. I love this car. It feels substantial. The doors feel heavy. You close it, just a fine little whoomp. It feels quality, like quality's written all over this thing, and it's a beautiful thing. So that's two things I love about it. What's the third thing I love? Well, the third thing I love is really you've got supercar level of performance packaged up in relatively low cost. And when I say relatively, I mean $80,000, $90,000 Canadian is not inexpensive, but really we're talking about the cost of a new diesel pickup truck. I mean, it doesn't take long to run your costs up on a truck like that. I mean, that truck is going to go down in value like nobody's business. This thing here will hold some value, and because it's the RS and it's a unique color, I've got to expect that it's not going up in value, but it will depreciate at a very low rate. It's just, I love this car. I love the heating controls. I love the adjustable view. I love all the controls on the steering wheel. It really makes it, you know, all in one, packaged up very cleanly. The beauty with the steering wheel, everything is attainable through here. You've got your stop start, drive select. You can control the view, of course. And other controls, various controls. And of course the double clutch transmission. What's not to love about that? Any brand that runs a dual clutch these days has it going on as far as I'm concerned. Of course, because it's a DCT double clutch transmission, you've got your controls, your shifters here. So the things I don't like about this, well, I guess getting into the car for the first time, some of the controls are a little bit difficult to understand. I guess if you come from the Audi world, it's probably more intuitive. Right now, you know, I generally come from BMWs, Porsches, and Lamborghinis, things like that. And I find those a little bit less cryptic. And I'm just making my way through it. I mean, the controls aren't really complicated, but again, you know, being that I'm not used to the Audi products, it's a little bit different than kind of what I'm used to. So that would be something that maybe, you know, not great, but again, you get used to it. So it's not really the end of the world on that part of it. Something else that I don't care about too much, well, you know, I guess it's always got that stigma, right? You know, the TT, you know, the name, somebody will ask you, well, I drive an Audi TT. You know, the first thing they're thinking of is that ball glove version back in the early vintages. So, you know, some people, I think there's a bit of a stigma there. Don't let that get you hung up on that though. Rest assured, you get behind the wheel of this car and that stigma, poof, goes out the window. It is incredibly fast. This car, I mean, really in essence is a little rocket ship. So there's nothing to be hung up on that. What else do I not like about it? Well, you know what? There's really not too much I don't like about this car. Again, I'd like to focus on the positive, I can't really say anything too negative about it because there's nothing negative to comment. It's a spectacular car, round and round, and you know what? I would say because the relatively low production numbers and the fact that manufacturers aren't sending a ton of these out, I would say get your hands on one as soon as you possibly can, because there are not a lot of these around. So everybody, I hope you liked that video about this beautiful TT RS. So be sure to subscribe below, like, comment, and come back for the next one. We've got another great review coming up real soon. Guys and gals and YouTubers, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.